everyone, so this is Haven Ditko and we have been working on our wine rack. When it comes to the step that we're at, that is making the wine bottle, if you come onto Google image searches, you can see there are tons of wine bottle shapes. They are not all just that simple little one like this that most of us are most familiar with or think instantly when we think wine bottle. But you can see all these different shapes. And so what I would suggest doing is finding a shape that you like, and remember that we have a really nice spiral, so even a bottle like this would fit in there really well. Here is one. I kind of like this one as well. Anyhow, so let's just pick out one of these, and I think that maybe that one's odd, huh? Let's go with just a regular simple one. So we'll go with this one here. Yeah, we'll go with this one here. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to just copy the image, and then in my Explorer window of my computer I can just paste it in there. So let me go ahead and paste that in there real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my N panel here. If it's not open, just hit N on your keyboard. We're going to come down and we're going to look for background images, and we're just going to turn it on. So when you turn it on, you can just take your image from your file browser and drag and drop it into your scene. If you go into front view, you can see it. If you go into 3 or 7, I'm sorry, 7, not 5. As long as you're in an ortho and you're in a front, top, or bottom view that you get to with your number pad, then you can see the image here in the background. And you can see that it's really quite large, okay? So if I go back into 1, this is our board right here. Okay, so this is really big. What we can do is come in here, and do you see that in our background settings, we have the size here. Oh no, actually this is the placement, sorry. Opacity, let's see, here's the size right down here. So this is 10. Let's go ahead and just change this to maybe 2. And that's closer to what we want. We change it again to 1. And that's even better. We're not trying to get it the size of the bottle. I mean, we can, but that's really not the most important part right now. We're going to go ahead and select all of these things and just move them over to the side for right now, because we don't need those in our way. And I'm going to change this again to 0.5. Okay. Once again, I'm going to do like I did with the spiral. Shift plus A to bring in a mesh plane. It's laying flat, so I'm going to rotate it on X by 90 degrees. Again, it's white because we have textures going on in our texture viewport. But let me go back to solid. Now we're all gray. I'm just going to scale this down a little bit to make it more manageable to work with. And back in front view so I can see my image again. I'm going to select all of this. And I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to deselect, or I'm going to select these 2 edges on this side, and I'm going to delete them. So delete key, vertices, that leaves us with just 1 edge. So after removing those 2 vertices, I'm going to go into object mode, and I'm going to go to set origin to geometry, and that takes the origin from here to here. Now I'm going to use Shift plus S, and I'm going to snap the selection to the cursor. You see it snapped right there back into front view, and we're set to go. So this is in the middle pretty much. I'm just going to go into edit mode. I'm going to select all, and I'm going to scale these on the Z axis. When I do that, this vertex will travel up to the top of the bottle, and this one will come down to the bottom. We could do them separately if we want to, or we could just make quick work of it by at least getting started here. And let's see, the top is up there. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and just hit G and Z with that one selected. So G and Z, and we'll just nudge it up a little bit. I love the nudge that we can use here with our down or up arrow keys. And this one, we are going to have to just gently nudge up as well. After I do this, I definitely like to take my origin and recenter it. So again, set origin to geometry. To change it just a little bit, you can see it was here, now it's up there. Choosing this one vertex on the bottom only, I'm going to come in close and I'm going to start tracing my bottle with it. So E to extrude it, you can see I have my edge end here, and I can just move it along the bottom of the bottle. Because the bottom of the bottle is going to be showing, I'm going to be a little detailed with it. But remember, if you do too much detail with this, too many edge loops, you're going to have an astronomically large amount of geometry on your object. And where a one land impact item, or where it should be one land impact, could end up turning into, you know, many more. So let's bring that up there. So far, so good. Let me bring this down. E for extrude, and I'm going to bring it all the way up here. And actually, I can just pull it up even a little further. That helps keep the inside of the bottle nice and straight as well. So maybe here. And we're just going to continue this until we get to the top point here. We do not need to go beyond that point. And let me show you a couple of ways. I'll show you how to get this nice and even up there. So I'm just going to keep extruding this. Trying to keep the shape, but not wanting to use too many extrusions and such. Okay. Again, it is your choice how much detail you want. Alright, so when I get close to where the last extrusion would actually go to the very beginning vertex here, I'm just going to select them both. So Shift, select both, scale it with S on Z to 0, and Enter key. And that makes sure that they're both at the exact same height along the Z axis. Then with them both selected, you just hit F, and it puts an edge between them. So now if I cam around, you can see that I've got an outline of half of my bottle, right? I'm going to select all of it, and I'm going to come into the tool panel and choose spin. What you see that's going to happen is going to look all messed up, but it's really not messed up, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. So you see it looks all messed up. You don't want to click on anything in here. You don't want to make any different selection, otherwise you lose these settings down here. So we're going to take the axis of it here, Z. I'm going to put it at 1. We're going to put this at 0. Alright? And now you can see that we have this here nice and neat and clean. It is our outline. You see that? This is our outline. Alright. It only made a quarter of it because we only have 90 degrees here in our angle. That means it went from here to a 90-degree angle. That's all. It also shows you that it did it in 9 steps. It took 9 steps to fill in the 90-degree angle. Well, let's go ahead and leave this at 9 for now, but let's take our 90-degree angle to 360. And now you can see in 9 steps it went all the way around, so we have a full bottle here. We have the bottom and we have the top, and it's all looking pretty good. 9 steps is a good roundness, but you can always come in here and you can add more to make it a little rounder. Again, that's using 12 steps, which is good. We are going to have double vertices here because when we had our first edge selected, what it did was it extruded it, extruded it all the way around, and it extruded it one more time to the beginning. So along here we actually have 2 edges going along the back. When you're happy with the number of steps and everything is all straightforward here, go ahead and hit A for all, and again go into your tool shelf and use remove doubles. So let me go ahead and click on that, and you'll see that I've got 52 vertices removed. And now I've got a nice, closed, perfect bottle. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go into front view only so that I know by looking at it which is the back edge loop, and it's that one there. Control E and mark seam. Now if I go into object mode, you can see here that my scale is wrong and my rotations are wrong. And this is going to have a lot to do again on our unwrapping. It's not going to be as nice as it could be. So let me open this up, put this in edit view or edit mode, select all, choose you to unwrap. You can see that's not really such a great unwrapping. Let's go ahead and go back into object mode, control A, and choose a rotation and scale to be applied. And again, these numbers will change to all zeros and all 1.00. There we go. Now when we go into U or edit mode U and unwrap it, we have something a little bit different. The reason that we're getting this is because we actually have an end on the bottom, and all of them come on the bottom and top, sorry, they all come to one point. So you're going to have to decide what to do with this. Well, first of all, the top of the bottle, we may want to have, like, when you look at the pictures, I don't know if you can really see it in this picture. Let's go back into one. You really can't. Let's go into top view so we can see it better. You can't see, but sometimes there's like a label or a cap on the top of the bottle that covers the actual cork. So what we could do is we could take this top piece here, and we could unwrap it by itself, maybe even go this far out and unwrap this by itself so that we get, let me think for a second here. We don't want to have this one marked if we do that. So I'm going to go into edge select mode, select this edge right here, control E, and clear that seam. Control E and clear that seam. Okay, now you see our seam comes up to this area of the bottle, but not across the top. Now I can select all of this and this, and I can do shift click on that. Oh, because I'm in edit edge mode. Let me go back to vertex. There we go. That makes it much more workable for what we want. I can go into top view and I can choose unwrap, but I don't have to choose the one that does the seams. I can actually do project from view. So now when it unwraps it, you can see I have it looking just like it does on the top of the bottle. So that solves the top of it. Let's go ahead and check on the bottom. Now the bottom is going to be a little bit different because we don't normally have a label here or anything. A lot of wine bottles sit down on the table in SL, so you don't even have to have a bottom on it in order to create the bottom of the mesh. You don't even need that. But ours is going to be tipped upside down in our holder, so we're definitely going to see the bottom of the bottle. We don't want to get rid of that. Let me just adjust this. So what I'm going to try and do here is this is just the one part that gives us issues because they are all joined, and maybe I shouldn't have joined those at the beginning. That's not a big deal because this is going to be a glass texture. There won't be any pattern to it. We'll probably make it either solid or a little bit translucent, so this isn't going to matter. But if for some reason you wanted it to matter, we should probably figure out a way to do it. And it's just because these are not separated. So what we're going to do is select this vertex and we're going to delete it. So let's delete that vertice. Now we have a hole here. We can take this one and we can extrude it. So you see there's an extrusion and snap it back where it came from. I was going to say that side looked weird for a second. And then let's just go ahead and scale it down. And we're going to scale it to 0. And left mouse click to confirm. Now the reason that I did that was because now these vertices are all individual. They're not all in one place. So let me select all. And I'm going to come up here and deselect the center. Whoops. Deselect the center and deselect these right here because this is the round. That's what we did project from view. So we don't want to unwrap it again with the unwrapping settings that we're using for the rest of the bottle. So U and choose unwrap. And now we get something quite a bit different. You can see here where the top was taken off. It's actually flat. And let's see what happened to the bottom. Okay, the bottom did not have, when we made this extrusion, I didn't re-mark this one here. So you can see it stayed connected. So let me go into edge select. Select this edge right down here. Control E and let's mark it. Alright, now let's go ahead and select all again. Again, we have to deselect the top, so shift. And again, we have to go into vertex. U and unwrap. And now you see that this is separated, so that's good. It looks a little messed up, but don't worry about it. We're going to fix that. Remember when we did the edge of the, we did the spiral and we did straightening each one of those out along the bottom? Well, we're going to do the same thing for this. It seems a little bit of a daunting task when you first start it, but it really goes really quick. So Alt right click on the top edge loop, hit W and choose Align Y. Y goes from the bottom to the top. So it's going to align them all at the exact same place along the Y axis. And as you go through this, you'll notice that your choice on the menu stays at align Y. So that makes really quick work of what we're doing. Come down here, and we're just gonna continue until we get to the bottom of our bottle. This where not using so many vertices to draw that outline comes handy. But again, you lose some of the detail if you don't use enough. Now, your first instinct when you start on doing these or lining these up is to fix these. You see how they're crossing over each other? Don't fix them. Just leave them. Just go through the whole thing first. And in most cases, when you have something like this, it straightens itself out. So as you can see, it is all straightening out all on its own. Alright, this one may be up a little bit, but we'll check on that in a minute. Now what we want to do is go align X, and that is doing it from left to right. So it's making sure they're all in the right, or the same position along the X-axis. Whoops, and I pressed something wrong, so I started going through my menu a little bit fast here. So let's go ahead and continue on the right way. Sometimes your fingers start to move like they've got a mind of their own, and you end up getting things done a little more quickly than you should. Alright, these here you see, these are not such a... There we go. So what we want to do now is we want to make sure that these are not crossing over each other. And that could be very possible because this may be creeped up into the bottom. So I'm going to select this vertex just for testing it. And you see, this actually belongs down here. It doesn't belong up there. It belongs down here. And that'll be the case with the whole bottom edge. So I'm going to grab it and just pull it down on the, actually let me go back for a second. So I'm going to move this straight down on the G axis, or Z axis. So G, Z, I'm sorry, Y. I forget. Z doesn't exist really in this window. Okay, so now I pulled it down on the Z, so I know it's this edge loop. I can alt right click on it, grab this on the Y. I keep saying Z, I mean Y, so pull that straight down. So this way, all of these are still lined up perfectly. I'm going to hit W, align on the Y, so that now they're all even. Grab on the Y, and I'm just going to nudge it back up a little bit to try and keep the aspect ratio correct. And there we now have a layout which is perfect. This here and this here, these edges meet in the back, so you'll want to remember to keep that in mind. Probably keep this seamless. But it gives you a nice way to put a label on here, so you can label this nicely, and you can make a label for the neck of it if you want to, or a separate color like it's got the wax cap on it. And if we do this, you'll see that we have our top here. So let's go ahead and grab our top, move it here, and this is a little bit too big, so let's just scale it down. Oops. And it is connected here, so what we need to do is, you see it's connected down there, is we need to deselect everything here and select this again individually without the rest of the bottle being selected. Hit S for scale and scale it down. I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab it and push it up here to the corner. Control I to invert my selection. And I do want to grab this inner one as well. And I'm going to select all, and I'm going to scale it on the X-axis a little bit. I'm going to grab it and just position it here. And scale it on the Y, scale it on the X, like that. Just gives me more room to work with my texture. If I select all in this window, you can see that this is not being, it's not going to trouble the texture space of this one. Okay, so now the last step that we want to do is just go ahead and smooth shading on this here, because we don't want that so squarish looking. We're going to take this and we're going to move it back to our board. Let me just close this all the way because we don't need that. Take our bottle back to our board. My blender is just kind of a little bit sticky for some reason. Not exactly sure why. Alright, so I want to scale this before I start twisting and turning it. Unfortunately, you can only really tell if it's at the right angle or size if you do angle it and put it in the actual holder here. So we're going to have to kind of, if we don't get the scale just right the first time, we're going to have to unrotate it and rescale it, and you'll see what I mean. So S for scale, and maybe about that size, right? So let's rotate this to match the angle of the spirals. Bring it up. Let's pull it in a little. And actually that part doesn't look so bad. But it's still too big, you can see. So let's pull it out a little bit. Yep, that's just way too big. So let's go ahead and do Control Z until we have it sitting straight up again. Let's go ahead and scale this a little bit more. Alright. What might help us is if we remember how much we rotated this time. So let me hit R for rotate, and when I do, down here numbers are going to show up. Actually, they show up right there. So R for rotate, and you can see I'm at minus 136 about. 140. So let me type that in. Minus 140 and enter key. So now next time I want to rotate this, if I need to again, we'll have the number. And actually that was too much of a rotation. So maybe next time 136 or something like that. 135. And let's just keep trying to manipulate this into the holder. Alright, so now it seems a little bit small. Let's go ahead and do Control Z one more time. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it up on the X and the Y, but not the Z. So S for scale, Shift Z to minus the Z. Pull that out a little bit. I'm going to rotate it at minus 135, remember, because the 140 was too much before. And let's pull this into place. And as you can see, I am at a bit of an angle, which is no big deal, it's all fixable. So that's fitting nicely. Bottle's a little bit long maybe, I don't know. I kind of like it like that. We could go back and we could scale this down a little bit more if we wanted to make it fit. We could make our spirals taller than we had them before. So just a matter of adjusting things a little bit as you go along. And after you've gotten this where you want it, so Shift plus D on the Z axis brings it straight up there. Shift plus D on the Z axis brings it straight down here. And now all of these have the exact same unwrapping. You can do a different drag and drop a texture onto each one of these so that you can have the labels all separate or the same or different or anything that you like. So this is just a quick, like I said, tutorial on how to make something, showing you how to use a few of the different tools that we have available to us. So have a bottle of wine or a glass of wine while you make this. Have fun with it. Please remember to subscribe and like and share and all that other fun stuff so other people can play in Blender with us. And that is it.